The transport ship landed on Kepler 44 to be with a soft thud that made the alien crew nervous. Dr. Hannah Kim stepped out of the passenger area and looked around at the research station. The red sky above them moved with strange patterns that looked like dancing flames. "Welcome to Station Zeta," said Dr. Zeloth, the tall, blue alien who ran the research base. His 4 arms moved in what humans had learned was a greeting gesture. "I must say, I am surprised the Council sent humans to this world." Hannah smiled and adjusted her backpack. Behind her, Gino Park carried 2 large cases of equipment. Both humans wore simple travel clothes and seemed relaxed despite the alien environment around them. "The Council said you needed someone who could work in extreme conditions," Hannah replied. "That sounds like our kind of job." Dr. Zilla's large eyes blinked slowly. His species, the Vrex, had been studying dangerous worlds for thousands of years, but even they had limits. "Miss Kim, perhaps you do not understand. This planet experiences what we call flame storms. The temperature can reach 800 degrees. The winds can move at 300 kilometers per hour. These storms last 4 days." Gino set down his equipment cases and looked up at the sky. "Sounds like summer training camp back home," he said with a grin. "How often do these storms happen?" "Every 30 days, answered Dr. Keth, a green-skinned scientist from Proxima Centauri. "When the storms come, we must hide in the underground. Bunkers. No one can survive outside during a flame storm." Hannah nodded thoughtfully. "That's actually perfect timing. My research focuses on extremophile organisms. These are life forms that live in very harsh conditions. The storms might be exactly what I need to find new species." The alien scientists looked at each other with worried expressions. Captain Tail of the Vrex Navy had specifically requested that no humans be sent to this station. Humans had a reputation in the galaxy for being incredibly tough, but this seemed like too much, even for them. "Dr. Kim," said Dr. Ziloth carefully, "I think you may not understand how dangerous these storms are. The last research team that tried to work during a flame storm was found as ash. Even our strongest protective suits cannot handle the heat." Opened one of her equipment cases. Inside were several pieces of advanced gear that the aliens had never seen before. "These are heat-resistant suits designed for Venus surface missions. They could handle temperatures up to 1200 degrees for short periods." She pulled out a helmet that looked like it belonged on a spacesuit. "This environmental suit has been tested in Earth's most extreme locations. Death Valley, the Sahara Desert, active volcanoes in Iceland. If it can handle Earth conditions, it should work fine here." Gino was already unpacking his own equipment. "I spent 5 years in Korean Special Forces," he explained to the curious aliens. "We trained in typhoons, blizzards, and desert storms. Working in bad weather is just part of the job." Dr. Keth moved closer to examine the human equipment. "But surely you cannot mean to go outside during an actual flame storm. The electromagnetic interference alone would destroy most instruments." "Actually, that electromagnetic interference is exactly what we need," Hannah said, with excitement in her voice. "The rare minerals we're looking for only show up when exposed to extreme electromagnetic fields. Normal weather won't trigger the formations we need to study." The alien scientists were beginning to understand that these humans were not like other species they had worked with. Most galactic races avoided danger whenever possible. Humans seemed to seek it out. Dr. Zeloth activated his communication device. "Station computer, what is the current weather forecast?" The mechanical voice responded immediately. "Flame storm approaching. Estimated arrival time, 6 hours. Storm intensity, maximum level. Estimated duration, 3 standard days. All personnel should report to emergency shelters." The alien crew immediately began moving toward the station's reinforced bunkers. They had been through many flame storms and knew that survival meant staying underground until the danger passed. But Hannah and Gino did not move toward the bunkers. Instead, they continued unpacking their equipment with calm efficiency. "Are you not coming to the shelter?" asked Dr. Zileth. "We'll be fine," Hannah replied. "This is actually perfect timing. We can start our research as soon as the storm begins." Gino attached a small device to his wrist. "Storm tracking system," he explained. "We used similar equipment during hurricane disaster relief operations. It helps us know where the worst conditions are so we can work around them." Dr. Keth stared at the humans in disbelief. "You want to work during the storm?" "That's when the interesting stuff happens," Hannah said. "Extreme conditions create unique chemical reactions. The minerals we're studying only form under intense heat and pressure. A flamestorm provides both." The alien scientists watched as Hannah tested her protective suit. The material looked thin but somehow strong. She moved easily in the suit, checking various instruments and communication devices. "Dr. Kim," said Dr. Ziloth, "I must officially inform you that station regulations require all personnel to shelter. During flamestorms, I cannot allow you to go outside." Hannah looked at the alien commander with respect but determination. "I understand your concern, Dr. Ziloth, but my research contract specifically covers extreme weather operations. I brought equipment designed for these exact conditions." She showed him a tablet with official documents. "The Galactic Council approved my mission parameters. I'm authorized to conduct field work during storms as long as I follow proper safety protocols." Gino finished setting up a portable communication array. "We'll stay in constant contact with the station. If anything goes wrong, we can be back inside in minutes." The aliens realized they were dealing with something they had never encountered before. These humans were not just willing to face deadly conditions, they were eager to do so. What the aliens saw as certain death, the humans saw as an opportunity. As the first signs of the approaching storm began to show in the sky, the alien crew prepared for 3 days of hiding underground. But Hannah and Gino prepared for 3 days of the most exciting research of their careers. The flamestorm was coming, and for the first time in galactic history, someone was looking forward to it. The alien crew moved quickly through the station corridors. Emergency lights flashed red as the automated systems announced the approaching flamestorm. Dr. Zileth and his team had done this many times before. They knew exactly how much time they had before the deadly weather arrived, but the humans were not hurrying. Hannah Kim sat calmly at a workstation, checking her equipment list on a tablet. Gino Park was nearby, organizing their gear with the same relaxed attitude he might have while packing for a camping trip. "The storm will be here in 4 hours, Dr. Keth said nervously. "We need to seal the emergency bunkers now." Hannah looked up from her tablet. "For hours. That's plenty of time. We just need to set up our mobile laboratory and test the communication systems." Engineer Voss, a tall alien with gray skin and 6 arms, stopped his preparation work to stare at the humans. "Mobile laboratory. You cannot be serious about working outside during the storm." "Of course we are," Gino replied while checking a heat sensor. "This is what we came here to do. The storm conditions are perfect for our research." Dr. Ziloth watched the humans work with growing amazement. His species had evolved on a world with dangerous weather, but nothing like the flamestorms of Kepler-4 to be. Even the Rex, known throughout the galaxy for their toughness, considered these storms impossible to survive. "Miss Kim," he said carefully, "perhaps you do not fully understand what a flamestorm means. The air itself becomes like fire. The ground temperature reaches levels that would melt most metals. The electromagnetic pulses can destroy electronic equipment from kilometers away." Hannah smiled as she tested a small device. "That sounds a lot like the conditions I worked in during my research on Venus. The surface temperature there reaches 460 degrees on a cool day. The pressure is 90 times what we have here. Venus research is done from orbit, protested Dr. Keth. No one actually goes to the surface. I did, Hannah said simply. 3 times. Once for a mineral collection mission, twice to study volcanic activity. You learn to work with extreme conditions instead of fighting against them. Gino connected 2 pieces of equipment together. Before I became a research assistant, I spent years in disaster relief, earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions. You name it, I've probably worked in it. The alien scientists looked at each other with expressions of disbelief. Most galactic species had learned to avoid dangerous situations. They built safe environments and stayed away from anything that might harm them. The idea of deliberately entering deadly conditions seemed impossible to understand. But why? Asked Engineer Voss. Why would you choose to put yourselves in danger? Because that's where the interesting discoveries happen, Hannah explained. Life finds a way to exist in the most extreme places. On Earth, we found organisms living in boiling hot springs and acid pools, even in the ice of Antarctica. The more extreme the conditions, the more amazing the adaptations. She showed them images on her tablet. These are thermophile bacteria that live in water hot enough to cook food. These others survive in acid strong enough to dissolve metal. Life doesn't just survive in extreme conditions, it thrives there. Dr. Zeleth studied the images with fascination. And you believe similar organisms exist here? I'm certain of it, Hannah replied. The flame storms create conditions that would kill most life forms, but they also create unique chemical environments. Any organism that can survive here would be incredibly valuable for research. Gino finished setting up their communication equipment. The electromagnetic interference from the storm will actually help us locate mineral deposits. We use similar techniques during lightning storms back home. The aliens watched as the humans continued their preparations with calm efficiency. Hannah put on her protective suit and moved around easily, testing its systems. The material looked impossibly thin to provide protection from the coming inferno. This suit was designed for working near active lava flows, she explained. The outer layer reflects heat while the inner layer circulates coolant. It's been tested in temperatures up to 1200 degrees. Dr. Keth examined the suit with professional interest. The technology is impressive, but surely there must be limits to what it can handle. Every piece of equipment has limits, Gino agreed. The trick is knowing what those limits are and working within them. That's what training is for. Key showed them a small device attached to his belt. Keys, this monitors suit, temperature, air supply, and radiation levels. If anything goes wrong, we know immediately. The station's computer announced that the storm would arrive in 2 hours. The alien crew finished their preparations and gathered near the entrance to the emergency bunkers. This is your last chance to come to safety, Dr. Zeloth said to the humans. Once the storm begins, we cannot help you if something goes wrong. Hannah checked her equipment one final time. We appreciate your concern, Dr. Zeloth, but we've been preparing for this kind of work our whole careers. Earth has taught us that extreme conditions are just another part of the job. The storm is going to be beautiful, Gino added. Seen hurricanes, tornadoes, and blizzards. Each one is unique. This flamestorm will be something completely new. Dr. Keth shook his head in amazement. You speak of the storm as if it were a wonderful thing instead of a deadly threat. Every storm teaches us something, Hannah replied. The more extreme the conditions, the more we can learn. This flamestorm will show us things that normal weather could never reveal. The alien scientists realized they were witnessing something extraordinary. These humans were not just brave, they were excited about facing conditions that would terrify most galactic species. As the first signs of the approaching storm appeared in the sky, the alien crew prepared to spend 3 days hiding underground, but Hannah and Gino prepared to spend 3 days making discoveries that would change galactic science forever. The flamestorm was almost here. The humans could hardly wait to begin their work. The flamestorm hit Kepler-4 for it to be like the breath of an angry star. The sky turned from red to bright orange, then to a blazing white that hurt to look at. Winds screamed across the landscape at speeds that could flip vehicles and tear apart buildings. The temperature outside the station rose to 800 degrees in the first hour. Deep underground in the emergency bunkers, the alien crew huddled around their monitoring equipment. Dr. Zeloth watched the external sensors with growing horror. The storm was stronger than any they had recorded before. Temperature is now 820 degrees, reported Dr. Keth, his voice shaking. Wind speed is 350 kilometers per hour. The electromagnetic readings are off the scale. Engineer Voss checked the communication system. I am trying to contact the humans, but the interference is too strong. We may have lost them already. But then, through the static and noise, came a clear voice that made all the aliens freeze in amazement. Station Control. This is Dr. Kim. We are outside and beginning our research. The storm conditions are absolutely perfect. Dr. Zeloth grabbed the communication device. Dr. Kim, you must return to the station immediately. The storm is beyond all safe parameters. Hannah's voice came through the speakers with obvious excitement. Dr. Zeloth, you should see this. Storm is creating mineral formations that I've never seen before. The electromagnetic fields are causing crystalline structures to form right in front of us. The alien scientists looked at each other in disbelief. According to their instruments, the conditions outside would kill any known life form instantly. Yet the humans were not only surviving, but enjoying themselves. Gino, are you getting readings on the thermal crystals? Could Hannah ask. Got them, came Gino's calm reply. The heat is causing some kind of chemical reaction in the rock formations. These crystals are forming in patterns that seem impossible. Dr. Keth stared at the communication equipment. How are they even speaking? The electromagnetic interference should destroy all electronics. Their equipment must be more advanced than we thought, Engineer Voss said quietly. But no technology can protect living beings from those temperatures. Through the communication system, they heard Hannah laugh with delight. Gino, look at this. The storm is revealing cave systems that were hidden before. The heat is actually opening up new passages in the rock. Should we explore them? Gino asked. Of course, Hannah replied. It's exactly the kind of discovery we came here to make. Storm is showing us things that normal weather would never reveal. The alien crew listened in amazement as the humans described their findings. They were not just surviving conditions that should have killed them. They were making scientific discoveries that would change everything. The mineral samples we are collecting have properties I have never seen, Hannah reported. The extreme heat and pressure are creating new compounds that exist nowhere else in the galaxy. Dr. Zeloth tried to understand what he was hearing. Dr. Kim, our instruments showed that the external temperature has reached 850 degrees. How's this possible? The suits are working perfectly, Hannah replied. The cooling systems are handling the heat just fine. It's actually quite comfortable in here. Comfortable, Dr. Keth whispered to the others. She says it's comfortable in conditions that would melt our bones. Gino's voice came through the speakers. Dr. Zeloth, you should know that we found evidence of life forms that actually depend on these storms. There are organisms here that cannot survive without the extreme conditions. The alien scientists were stunned. They had studied this planet 4 years, but had never imagined that life could exist during the flame storms. The storm is not destroying life, Hannah explained. It's creating it. These organisms need the high temperatures and electromagnetic fields to reproduce. The flame storms are part of their natural life cycle. As the first day of the storm continued, the humans made discovery after discovery. They found new minerals, new life forms, and new geological processes that had never been documented before. We have collected 17 different samples, Hannah reported. Each one represents a completely new type of matter that only exists during these extreme conditions. The alien crew realized they were witnessing something historic. These humans were not just surviving impossible conditions, they were using those conditions to unlock secrets of the universe. The cave systems go deeper than we expected, Gino said. I am going to explore the lower levels, the readings show. Even more interesting formations down there. Be careful, Hannah replied. The temperature increases with depth. We might be approaching the limits of our equipment. No problem, Gino said with a laugh. This reminds me of exploring lava tubes in Hawaii. Same principles, just hotter. Dr. Zeloth could not understand how the humans could be so calm. Dr. Kim, you say the temperature is increasing. Are you not concerned? Okay. Every environment has its challenges, Hannah replied. Okay. The key is to work with the conditions instead of against them. This storm is giving us opportunities that we could never have during normal weather. As the storm entered its second day, the alien crew began to understand that they were witnessing something that would become legend throughout the galaxy. The humans were not just surviving the impossible, they were thriving in it. Storm. It's getting stronger, Dr. Keth observed, watching the instruments. Good, came Hannah's voice through the speakers. The stronger the storm, the more interesting the discoveries. Okay. We are just getting started. Okay. The alien scientists looked at each other with new respect and wonder. They were learning that humans did not just survive extreme conditions, they embraced them. The flamestorm raged on, and the humans continued their work as if they were enjoying a pleasant day at the beach. On the second day of the flamestorm, something happened that had never been recorded in galactic history. The storm grew stronger instead of weaker. The station's computer systems, buried deep underground, began flashing warnings that made the alien crew panic. External temperature now exceeds 1,000 degrees, announced the mechanical voice. Wind speeds have reached 400 kilometers per hour. Electromagnetic interference is at maximum levels. These conditions exceed all known survival parameters. Dr. Zeloth stared at the readings with disbelief. In all his years of research, he had never seen conditions this extreme. The surface of the planet was now hotter than some stars. We have lost all contact with the humans, Engineer Voss reported with sadness in his voice. No life form can survive these conditions. They must be gone. But then, through the crackling static, came a voice that made every alien in the bunker stop breathing. Station control. This is Dr. Kim. You are not going to believe what we just discovered. Dr. Zeloth grabbed the communication device with shaking hands. Dr. Kim, how are you still alive? Temperature readings show conditions that should be impossible to survive. The suits are working perfectly, Hannah replied, her voice filled with excitement. But that's not the important part. Kino and I have made a discovery that will change everything we know about this planet. What kind of discovery? Dr. Keth asked nervously. The flamestorms are not random weather events, Hannah explained. A day, or a planetary defense system. The planet creates these storms on purpose to protect itself from threats. The alien scientists looked at each other in confusion. What do you mean, defense system? Dr. Zeloth asked. Gino's voice came through the communication system. We found evidence in the deep caves. The planet has sensors that detect when dangerous organisms arrive. When it senses a threat, it creates flamestorms to eliminate the danger. But how is that possible? Engineer Voss asked. The planet is alive, Hannah said simply. Not alive like an animal or plant, but alive like a giant organism. The entire world is one connected system that can think and react to threats. Dr. Zeloth felt his understanding of the universe shift. Are you saying the planet is intelligent? Very intelligent, Hannah replied. It has been protecting itself for millions of years. The flamestorms are just one of its defense mechanisms. There are others that we have not discovered yet. The alien crew listened in amazement as the humans described their findings. They had discovered that the planet's core was actually a massive neural network made of crystalline structures. The entire world could think and make decisions. The organisms we found are not just surviving the storms, Gino reported. They are part of the planet's immune system. They help the world identify threats and respond to them. This explains why the storms happen every 30 days, Hannah added. The planet is constantly checking for new threats. When it finds something dangerous, it creates storms to deal with the problem. Dr. Keth realized the implications of this discovery. But wait, the planet creates storms to eliminate threats. Why are you still alive? Why has it not eliminated you? There was a pause before Hannah answered. Because we are not threats. The planet has been studying us since we arrived. It knows we are here to learn, not to harm. The planet is curious about us, Gino added. It has never encountered humans before. It wants to understand what we are and why we can survive its defenses. Alien scientists began to understand that they were witnessing something unprecedented. The humans had not just survived the planet's defenses, they had earned its respect. The storm is getting stronger because the planet is testing us, Hannah explained. It wants to see how much we can handle. Each increase in temperature and wind speed is like a question, and what answers are you giving? Dr. Zillith asked. That humans are not easily defeated, Gino replied with a laugh. The planet seems to find this interesting, keeps making the conditions more extreme to see what we will do. Through the communication system, they heard Hannah talking to herself. Temperature is now 1100 degrees. Wind speed is 450 kilometers per hour. The electromagnetic fields are creating new types of matter that have never existed before. Are you concerned? Kadaketh asked. Concerned? This is the most exciting research I have ever done, Hannah replied. The planet is showing us secrets that no other species has ever seen. It trusts us enough to reveal its true nature. The alien crew realized they were listening to history being made. The humans had accomplished something that seemed impossible. They had made friends with a living planet. The planet is teaching us, Gino reported. It is showing us how it creates the storms, how it monitors threats, how it protects the life forms that belong here. It wants us to understand that destruction can also be creation, Hannah added. The flame storms do not just destroy, they create new minerals, new life forms, new possibilities. Dr. Zilov began recording everything. He knew that this discovery would change how the galaxy understood planetary systems. Dr. Kim, what happens when the storm ends? The planet will remember us, Hannah replied. It will know that humans can be trusted. Future research teams will be welcomed instead of tested. It is giving us a gift, Gino said. It's knowledge that no other species has ever received. The planet is sharing its secrets because we proved we could handle them. As the storm continued to rage with impossible intensity, the alien crew began to understand something important. The humans had not just survived the planetary defenses, they had earned the planet's friendship. The flamestorm was no longer a threat to be endured. It had become a teacher, and the humans were its eager students. When Deathworld treated an alien firestorm as good training weather. Part 5. After the storm, the flamestorm ended as suddenly as it had begun. One moment, the planet was covered in fires that burned hotter than most stars. In the next moment, the sky was clear and peaceful. The temperature dropped from over 1,000 degrees to a comfortable 25 degrees in less than an hour. The alien crew emerged from their underground bunkers like frightened animals, leaving their hiding places. They had spent 3 days listening to impossible things through their communication systems. Now they would finally see what had really happened. Dr. Zillith was the first to reach the station's main laboratory. What he found there made him stop and stare in complete amazement. Dr. Hannah Kim and Gino Park were sitting calmly at a work table. organizing hundreds of samples and data recordings. Both humans looked completely normal, as if they had just returned from a pleasant walk in a garden. "Good morning, Dr. Zelath," Hannah said with a bright smile. "I hope you had a comfortable stay in the bunkers. We have some very exciting discoveries to share with you." Dr. Zelath looked around the laboratory in disbelief. The room was filled with equipment, samples, and instruments that he had never seen before. Charts and graphs covered every wall, showing data that seemed impossible to collect. "How?" he began, then stopped. "How are you both alive?" Gino looked up from a microscope where he was examining a crystal sample. The storm was actually quite pleasant once you got used to it. The planet was very welcoming once it understood our intentions. Dr. Keth and Engineer Voss entered the laboratory and immediately froze in shock. The humans had not just survived 3 days in conditions that should have killed them instantly. They had been working the entire time. "The data we collected will change everything we know about planetary science," Anna explained, showing them tablets full of information. "We documented 43 new mineral compounds, 26 new life forms, and 15 new geological processes." She pointed to a collection of crystals that seemed to glow with their own light. "These formations only exist during flame storms. They are created by the interaction between extreme heat and electromagnetic fields. Nothing like them has ever been found anywhere else in the galaxy." Dr. Zelath picked up one of the crystals with shaking hands. It was warm to the touch and seemed to pulse with energy. "This is impossible. Our instruments said the conditions were deadly to all known life." "All known life except humans," Gino corrected with a grin. "Earth taught us that impossible conditions are just challenges waiting to be solved." Engineer Voss examined the equipment the humans had used. "Okay, your protective suits show no damage at all. How did they survive temperatures over 1,000 degrees?" "Okay, engineering and better preparation," Hannah replied. "When you grow up on a planet with active volcanoes, acid, rain, and ice storms, you learn to build equipment that can handle anything." Dr. Keth was looking at the data recordings with growing excitement. "Okay, these readings show that you made contact with a planetary intelligence. You actually communicated with a living world." "The planet is very curious about humans," Gino explained. "It had never encountered a species that could survive its defense systems. It wanted to understand what we are and where we come from." Hannah activated a recording device. "The planet shared its history with us. It has been protecting this star system for over 10 million years. The flame storms are just one of many ways it defends against threats." The recording played sounds that were unlike anything the alien scientists had ever heard. It was like listening to the voice of a world itself, deep and powerful and ancient. "It told us about other species that tried to settle here," Hannah continued. "Most were eliminated by the storms. A few were allowed to leave safely when the planet determined they meant no harm." "But you were the first to be invited deeper," Dr. Zelath said, with wonder in his voice. "The planet respects strength and curiosity," Gino explained. "When it saw that we could handle its tests, it decided to trust us with its secrets." Dr. Keth began to understand the full importance of what had happened. This discovery will change how the entire galaxy views planetary exploration. A living world that can think and defend itself changes everything. "The planet wants to meet other humans," Hannah said. "It finds our species fascinating. It has invited Earth to send more research teams." Engineer Voss shook his head in amazement. "You turned a deadly defense system into a friendly greeting." "We just treated it with respect," Gino replied. "The planet was not trying to harm us, Q. It was testing us to see if we were worthy of its trust." Karasilla realized that he needed to contact the Galactic Council immediately. This discovery would require new policies for planetary exploration and first contact protocols. "What will you do now?" he asked the humans. Hannah smiled as she packed her equipment. "Kay, the Galactic Council has offered me a position studying other extreme worlds. Apparently, there are several planets with conditions that other species cannot survive. I have been invited to join the Emergency Response Corps," Gino added. "They need someone who can work in impossible conditions to help with rescue operations." Dr. Keth looked at the samples the humans had collected. "These discoveries will keep scientists busy for decades. You've opened an entirely new field of research." "That was the goal," Hannah replied. "Science advances when we push beyond what seems possible." As the alien scientists began to process the amazing discoveries, they realized they had witnessed something that would become legend throughout the galaxy. 2 humans had faced conditions that should have been instantly fatal and had turned them into the greatest scientific breakthrough in galactic history. The story would be told on every world in known space. The day that humans proved impossible was just another word for interesting, and deadly was just another word for exciting. The flamestorms would never again be seen as threats to be avoided. Thanks to the humans, they had become opportunities to be embraced.